Like if I create tokens and if I pair them in the liquidity, would that, like, what do I need to do to either in best way support it or recreate it or like?
Yeah. So
I want to help. I want to.
What I would really like to see someone do is similar to how I did the Atropa token release initially. You have a big bag of say.
I don't have any big bag. Do I need a big bag to start?
I would say you need a big bag of p-stable to do what I would like to see someone do.
Okay.
So say you have 1 billion of any p-stable, and you take your new token that you create and it's fair, you're not going to be able to exploit it. The goal is to lock yourself into a system that you can't exploit. That's been my goal. If I can't exploit it, then I can possibly lose, but overall I'm not going to take advantage of anybody. That's been my goal. So if you have your big bag of p-stable and you release your brand new token, it has a fixed supply and no mint, and you place, say, half of it against this p-stable, you retain half, so you could buy all of the p-stable back out if you want to. I guess you need more. You could do the math on that. So like you keep whatever amount of your tokens, so you can buy all of what you bought into back.
Do you eventually buy, or you do straight away? Because if you do straight away, you can drain that liquidity.
This is the hard part to explain. So if you're going to burn liquidity, you want to be able to burn that liquidity initially, so that you're not really going to lose. So whatever the equation is, so that if you want to buy back 100% of what you set up for collateral, you can do that with your new token.
Which is hard. 70-30, and then afterwards 10% into other burn liquidity.
I don't necessarily know. By the time anybody else is buying into it, the numbers change anyway. And so if it's going to be successful, you're just going to win. Like that was my perspective. And so I think what I did was I took I did 50% on the new token, burned against 100% of the backing, and that's just gone.
And then you take the other 50% and buy
So then I created a new token, and I took a portion of that versus this 50%. I kept a certain portion of this 50% for myself, and then burned the rest versus this new token, and then kept some portion of that new token. When I did the math on that, I released another token, and the third token locks in. So by the time you have 3 tokens and you've burned it in the right way, and you take this token, you put it up 100% with what you have remaining of this, and then you only buy that one back. And so what you end up with here is you're in the hole. Like you're literally you've set yourself in the hole on this third token. You have a portion of your initial token, which you kept because it was fair. You have a portion of your second token, which you kept, in my opinion, with the intention of growing that stack, because it's going to be where you're going to make your own money. The down token.
The second token, yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then your third token makes it legal because you've set yourself in the hole by setting 100% liquidity to burn and then only buying one.
But the second token will take time. So eventually you lose.
You have to do the math on it.
Yeah, it does take time.
You're going to know how much you lose.
Mm-hmm. You do lose it,
Yeah. But I mean, it's worked really well for my bag. By the time the p-stables get more and more stable, you're not going to make as much off of it.
If I take that in mind, Atropa is paired to p-stables a lot.
Right.
Then if I've got a big bag of Atropa, why not create a coin towards Atropa and not towards the p-stables? As we know that if the p-stables do well, Atropa is going to do well.
It could be a better option.
It would be a cheaper option.
If you assume that Atropa is going to go up, by the time P-DAI gets to $1, Atropa will have gone up at 3 times to 10 times based on extra buy.
3, 7, 10.
Yeah.
It works like 3, 7 times to up to 10.
And so if your goal is this portion that you've set yourself in the hole with, your initial bag that you burned and created all these tokens off of, you want it to grow in value so that you're set yourself in the hole token you don't necessarily have to own more of it. It's just worth so much more.
What's a good portion to hold? No more than 5% maybe? Or?
I don't know.
We can hold more than eventually pair with other coins and burn the liquidity.
So I sort of kept a bar in mind. And by the time I opened the IRC channel, it was really to get a perspective on how fair I was keeping things. And so if I'm aiming for this bar, and I don't want to see anybody up here even wondering if I'm taking advantage. If they don't have all the information, that's one thing. But if they see like I have too much of this token, then I need to go look at that token and figure out like, do I need to burn more of it or whatever. And so I'm going through the addresses, which is everything I've kept of value, and auditing those on a semi-regular basis to try and keep all the numbers more or less right. There hasn't been much to do in several months.
Do you get problems with people's holdings if they're holding it up?
I don't think so.
Because I've seen one of the charts there, someone was holding 10% off certain token, the Asian Thai token.
That's the point. So for that token in particular,
what would you want to do with that token if someone is holding that 10%?
I want to think
what
about,
can
do I
that 10%
want to
guy
hold
do?
more than that? Yeah, it's like the Rama token. Like, do I want to be Rama or do I want to let them be Rama right now? And so if they're holding more than me and I want to be the boss, I'm going to buy more. If I feel like they're really holding too much, I'm not going to buy more. I'm going to wait for them to sell. But part of the goal with that one, I don't know, within the contracting of like what does each token represent in the system, that one is meant to have that sort of a function. Like I've sold completely out of it and bought all the way back in, I think 3 times so far.
Has that got anything to do with Thailand, or is just has that got to do anything with Thailand or nothing to do
with what?
Thailand, the country Thailand.
Yeah.
The token itself.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any Thai people that are invested in it yet, significantly. I haven't seen enough as much global interest as I would have expected. China, we're doing really well with, but everybody else, even Greenland, all the people I met in Greenland that were already aware of it, they were expats.
A lot of people like it's hard to get into the IRC chart. So the Telegram we got is only you can't really chat on it.
So that's part of the point.
But if we want to spread it out more,
so the reason
someone would listen to me, but they'll listen to you better. If you know what I mean. If I explain someone the thing and I ain't got nothing to do with it, they'll say, "Well, there's 10,000 coins out there." But if they hear you speaking, it's a completely different story.
Yeah. A big part of the goal is to keep it like on the elite level, like honestly. And so from the perspective of having that chat on IRC, having it like fascistly controlled,
it wasn't like that at the beginning.
Like there's like an energy level that I aim for, and if it hops above the energy level, I have to analyze like what's going on. Do I just kick this? Like they have to cross the line and then I kick them. But otherwise, it's just like just keep it on a low boil. And it's all good. Like
do you do all the chatting yourself?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there any rules for the chat? Do's and don'ts?
Just pay attention.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff to pay attention to.
Yeah.
One more question.
If you ever want to call me out on anything, that's highly encouraged. Like that's the part of setting this bar. Like if anybody wants to call me out on anything, like I have to like be there for that, like ready.
No, we can't because we can't do it through the Telegram. Every time I smash my iPad on the call on something.
Well, I'm paying attention at the very least, like the.
One thing that caught me as well, I'm from Albania myself.
Okay.
And I've seen you spoke about Roja, Eddie Rama, TV Clan.
Yeah.
Is there a point on that, or do you know the story behind them, or do you study them, or is there any point?
I've met Eddie Rama.
You met Eddie Rama?
Yeah.
I've met him.
Do you know about Metalkova and Rogue in Ljubljana? So it's like what do you call it? A demilitarized autonomous, they call it that. It's just a bunch of punk kids and a lot of Arabic influences. But he spends time there. I guess his it might or might not be his son. I was pretty good friends with. I lived there for a while.
He's Scotsman.
He's
Scotsman.
I've been following RTV Clan for years.
Do you understand it?
I'm pretty good.
I'm Salvanian, yeah?
I don't know.
Because
I have my Razmaj down.
is there any point of the coin, the TV Clan coin?
Of which one? Oh, I don't know. So I set those coins up. The stock market, in my opinion, is one of these things that's set up to fail. And so I created these bunch of tokens. I added mint functions on them. And I had the mints go to random people that were invested early in the system.
It's not easy to call the functions, though. It's quite hard, isn't it?
You have to know how to call functions on tokens.
Yeah, of course, but you've got to be a dev.
Yeah. I think you have to be a dev to really do any of it, for the most part.
Yes and no. Yeah,
if this cap and trade bit catches on...
If you add an LP, you don't have to be a dev if you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
If you're buying the coin very early and you've got loads of that coin and add the LP to it and create another coin, you don't really have to be a dev. You gotta be a dev when you know exactly the mint functions and stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But literally, PulseX has made us quite easy to work with certain coins. You can create a coin out of thin air, which is their ETF.
Yeah.
That's it. You can do decentralized ETF on any coin you want, really, as long as you got a big bag of the other coin you're gonna pair it up to.
So I've been scammed at least 5 times at this point on Ethereum for like ERC20s alone. And if I go back and I look at all the scams that occurred, what ultimately caused them to happen, where the trust was lost, I'm trying to beat all of those scenarios. I'm also trying to set up all those scenarios and tokens that I don't expect anybody to really buy, like RTV Clan, that are maybe can be like publicity tools. Like we can see them show up in the charts, like #1 on deck screener for a minute, and it's like everybody like, I don't know, like viral communications. Like the same way that IRC was released. Like the IRC token went out, everybody joined IRC. Like within 5 minutes, so people in the channel. To see more stuff like that on blockchain, I think would be really cool. I started doing these tokenized assets with the idea that they might catch on. Like if I saw, I don't know, like 100 YouTube videos with tokenized asset tokens created like every day, I would be watching some of those videos. Like if long term there's like this secondary app that gets built up and these tokenized things go on the blockchain, and like there's like a streaming YouTube channel basically that's set up within the app just to draw off assets on the blockchain for like what's new, and like I think that would be really cool.
X is trying to do?
Partially, yeah. Yeah. I thought Caw still might. Has anybody followed that one at all? Caw, C-A-W, A Hunter's Dream.
They ring some.
Yeah. So they have a website.
Cow, Hunter's Dream.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been following Hunter's Dreams. Obviously, next month I think they're bringing out. If they're bringing out the update, they did have their update. They wrote something the other day and they said actually that should be coming out next month. Is there any point of Cow on the Pulsechain? Will they be working on both maybe? Or?
So my reading was that they had at least some involvement with Twitter to X movement. If there's any potential of X having like a blockchain presence, and their target is multiple chains, that could be like a huge deal.
I believe the next TikTok.
Yeah.
If better, because TikTok started good, but it's not like X when it comes to investment and economic stuff.
Yeah, like people can't buy your videos. Like that's huge. Like in my
Cow would definitely be huge if they bring out a product they've been saying.
like I don't know how they're gonna do it necessarily. If like so like you do like a tweet and it's just like this text thing. If somebody can like buy a share of your tweet, then that's really.
And I think the streamers will get gifts as TikTok is getting gifts. I mean, you can go live on TikTok and you'll get. There's people. I've got some of my mates that they go live on TikTok. And last year's payment was just on gifts, $1.3 million. Dollars on gifts. Streaming, doing nothing really. But there you go.
Yeah,
it's happening.
We see a lot of that where people are paying themselves.
No,
but we also see a lot where people are
what's
really
happening
like,
now? I mean, what TikTok has done is created a competition. You're going live with someone. The competition is whoever gets more gifts.
Yeah.
And that's what is actually kicking off that competition.
Yeah.
I mean, if my mate is playing, if I can win his game, I'll try and win his game. If he's usually the lives there's lives that got 1,000 people on live. Because what we do music. YouTube subscribers will go over 2 million. Just YouTube sub. That's all the Pulsechain streamers all together. They haven't got 2 million.
Okay.
We do rap music from Albania, but we've grown up in England. We do concerts here. We do concerts all over. All over the place. And we have got a lot of streams. We got a lot of viewers, and we got a lot of followers. My mates, one of my partners that we got the music going on. He's got just on Instagram. He's got 2 million plus followers. I've got about 89,000 followers. And on his TikTok he's got over 1 million. So I'm waiting, how can we spread this word to people? Right now, if we ain't got roadmap, we ain't got we ain't got nothing to go forward basically for us to spread the word.
It's like we're waiting for a green light basically to spread the word forward, and I've already onboarded a lot of people, but it's just like word to word for the moment, but I think it will catch up.
Have we got a roadmap or
overview?
I have like a tiered plan. So the initial goal.
White paper no.
No. The goal is to never have a website. To never have anything but on-chain functions. I think that will encourage people to analyze it more, and it will keep a lot of like the fear, uncertainty part out, because it'll be too hard for the people who just like dive in. And by having everything be already a certain level of difficulty, the persons that are like with the unverified token sources, there's going to be people able to go in and look at that assembly and can verify for themselves that it's not anything that they can gauge their worst case loss scenario. And if that the first tier in my plan, if that worst case loss scenario is all based on P stables, as the P stables go up, the whole tier system, I guess like.
Why do you believe on P stables so much?
If Pulsechain is going to succeed, the initial.
So far, it's doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody checks the charts, check the prices. I mean, we're going away from fiat into crypto. So you're not meant to check it on a fiat basis, basically. I mean, you got the same coins, prices gone down against the dollar.
Yeah.
But when we see the TVL, it's growing up. When we see the wallets,
to be consistent.
Wallets are going up. We've gone over 1 million wallets on a Pulsechain, which is very good. Live wallets as well. And I mean, he is actually moving forward. I don't know if you know Richard or if you ever met Richard. No. Have we seen any transaction that we've seen from Richard coming towards the 414 up to
I'm sure he's
4 million EX?
I'm sure he's bought in.
No, have we seen any coins coming from Richard, from some of the SAC wallets to your wallet?
Not that I know of.
I think we have seen on charts up to 40 million EX.
Okay.
When EX was about 2010.
20 cents.
Before Pulsechain was launched, basically. I don't know. I haven't not checked the data completely.
Okay.
But there is on data certain transactions that we believed somehow that that was connected to Richard.
Yeah, I bought in really early to HEX.
All right.
And so HEX staking long term, especially if this new EHEX bag that I bought, if that staking can go in, like that interest is going to feed the system really well long term. But I think with the P stables, the game plan from day one was you get all your Ethereum tokens on Pulsechain, and that means that your DAI that you had on Ethereum, you're going to get on Pulsechain. You're going to get it on Pulsechain as PDAI.
As we've seen. So.
Yeah, and so if the goal is for that initial concept to be valuable at all, those stable coins have to go stable, in my opinion. Everything else does not have to go stable. Link doesn't have to go stable. Ethereum certainly doesn't have to go stable.
The Ethereum side is already explained, is saying that that's not going to go stable.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ethereum we go on the other side
it's
is
a
meant to be
number as well. I don't know if you've seen the mint numbers.
Yeah, but it's got to be
crazy.
it's got to be stable with Pulsechain. And I think there's a reason on that. If Make or DAO is going to work on Pulsechain, they're not going to take Pulsechain as a transaction. They're going to take the Ethereum Pulsechain, which is the same price as Pulsechain, to initially mint PDAI.
Okay.
So that's why there's a reason why we forked Ethereum as well. We got 3 Ethereum coins on Pulsechain, but that's going to be stable to Pulsechain. Pulsechain goes up, that goes up.
Right.
So far, there's always been stable. Now I've seen Richard tweeting saying that's going to be stable to that. And if he wants Ethereum on Pulsechain to be stable to Pulsechain, that means they're going to use that to make a DAO once they start working on Pulsechain. Definitely.
Okay.
Is it possible that the contracts keep the stable? Like, is it possible?
He's working with it. He's definitely keeping. He's definitely keeping the P Ethereum. He's obviously keeping stable.
Do you think
with
Atropa
Pulsechain.
system is sufficient
Yeah.
enough to bring the stables to the stable level and keep them there?
So I don't think anybody's able to do that math yet.
All right.
I can see it turning out weird. So because there's so much of that PDAI burn, by the time it gets to $1, we could have 5-6 billion PDAI on Atropa.
Yes.
If that's the case, the numbers are just different than they would be otherwise. I think it works out for the better for everybody that gets involved along the way. But the concept of keeping that asset stable on Pulsechain becomes completely different than it is on any other chain after that stage.
When DAI started on Ethereum, it was not stable. It didn't start stable.
Yeah.
MakerDAO started DAI on Ethereum not as stable. So if that happened on Ethereum, eventually it could happen on Pulsechain as well. If MakerDAO works on Pulsechain, which we can see now the contract's working, he can bring that stability up because he can burn and mint.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. I don't know about that functionality overall. It seems, I don't know.
Why did you choose Pulsechain to deploy your system? And I know
Richard's done the best out of everybody that I know of, as far as not scamming people.
And what did not work out when you tried it on Tomochain?
Tomochain, the price went down right after I bought in. I think I bought $100,000.
Yeah.
And I saw the price go down, and so I got out.
Yeah.
Didn't go back in. Yeah.
I see.
I had hope for them because they're Vietnamese.
I mean, I see that there is a lot of time going into it to plan and design it. Must have years in your head or on paper.
It's I have a projection.
Yeah.
And so as I can get a better aim on what I want to accomplish, and if there's anything I can do to make that to destroy that the overall goal changes day to day. But so right now it went from what is a security, and so I sort of analyzed that, and why does a security fail, made one fail. Now how did anybody do it right after knowing that it fails that way? And that's how I got all the cap and trade information out. If that grows into what it might grow into, it gets vast
I'm not sure if I understand the new project with the cap and trade thing. Could you explain what that means?
So the tool of cap and trade in finance is you have these assets that they're meant to be fiction. They're meant to be counterfeit, ultimately. Like literally, they started from people that wanted to make counterfeit. And the legitimization process of counterfeit is what we now call cap and trade. And the idea is you have this counterfeit asset that has a good use. Like you can pass it as being beneficial enough that nobody wants to prosecute you. And every time you use that counterfeit asset, because of the nature of it being counterfeit, you want to improve the value of every transaction. And so between hedges and subsidies, which are the only two types of commodities, if the hedge is something that you want to bet two things against each other, and the subsidy is something that you want it to like push it and make it grow. The process of growing this asset to a certain limit based on the hedge dichotomies and the growth of the subsidy it's how the financial institutions build their munitions company versus their national infrastructures. And so if we want to build Hexicans as like Bank of Hexicans, like the way that we're going to have to do that is the same way that everybody else builds every other bank. And so if we can find, because that information is not public, if we can find enough of how they do that to start doing it, and we don't find anybody that says that's the wrong way, we'll find more and more people that say it's the same way everybody else does it. And then we'll get Bank of Hexaco to exist the same way as all these other banks exist. So in order to compete against these off-the-paper, off-the-public transaction record institutions, how do we create one? And so I think we can. It's the first projection for how we can do that I'm aware of that has any success potential at all.
I mean, I feel like what you create is like the birth of a new financial system, a decentralized financial system. It seems to be revolutionary, just in my gut. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but how do you see it going? I mean, you can approach countries with it, as you might do already.
So my goal was to make sure I can't exploit it.
Yes.
It's set up at this point to where if, say, I pull everything I have, I'm going to make a lot less than I would longer term.
Yes.
And I'm not really going to kill the system at this point.
You can't completely kill the system. Some of the coins you only got 5%.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Plus, most of the coins are 50%.
I can tank Teddy Bear.
You got 6%.
Yeah.
You can. But then what would happen after?
Somebody else will buy it.
Exactly. You'll be bought out.
Yeah. And that's been the goal. So if I can take enough of a hit on short term, where these P stables are eventually going to go up and like be far above what I was aiming for anyway. As I get like above the bar of what, like again, like say I get like a $4 billion bag, like a real $4 billion bag. There's no human reality where I can ever pull that money out. So if I can find a way to like burn it and feed more into the system, and everybody else grows up more bags, the process is like it's a good process. It's working so far. And it's gonna keep working.
Be a more certified process.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
What's the point of teddy bear? Is it only meme coin maybe, or it has functions of? I mean,
well, we got a movie already.
Movie, yeah? Yeah, the movie that's already.
And I think it's related to the people that did the Hex movie.
We're talking about the movie that's been already on cinemas or not?
The Imaginary movie. Do you know about the Imaginary?
No.
It's a teddy bear horror movie.
All right,
yeah.
No, I've not.
So there were some people that showed up and like were obviously making a movie. We chatted a little bit, and the movie came out. They knew enough about teddy bear horror and about Hex and Pulsechain at the same time that I know it's them.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, if enough stuff like that comes out, there's just going to be like, it's like a Twilight. I feel like it's like a Twilight picturesque of what advertising would be, but because it's like a couple of steps removed. If the growth is just in like this concept of a teddy bear that's going to take over, I don't know, destroy everything.
I mean, it's everywhere. To be honest with you, teddy bears everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere you go, you see a teddy bear.
The chat study.
Like that's just going to work. Like in my estimation. Yeah.
If people added more liquidity to any other like teddy, any other thing, it will help. Would that help for?
I have debates on that. So with the BFF token, that's if I think about what the P stables are supposed to do, I wanted to make a scenario where that can happen quickly, so we could like test it and see like then we stabilize it at a certain price, and how well can something I create do that? I can't do it on a scale of billion tokens. I can possibly do it on a scale of 777 tokens. If we get legitimately 1,000 people that want to own one whole token, it's going to be above that number. And so, I don't know, what was the question one more time?
If we added liquidity, would that help for the market cap to go up, or,
exactly.
or will it stop?
If you add liquidity on the BFF token at this point and it's below the target range, it's going to help stabilize the price at where it is right now. But if the goal is actually to stabilize it at a higher price, it's best
to buy and hold.
Make it scarce. I think we're seeing a similar thing with the P stables. Like the reason that USDT particularly stays at a lower level is they're wanting to have more of that token distributed long term, more or less.
Do we view all the P stables the same?
They're not tracking the same at the moment.
They're not far off really as they started. They started very far off. They're not really far off.
They've been off by as much as 70% at times.
Right now, I don't think they are that.
Yeah.
But are we viewing them as that? Sorry, are we viewing?
That's all right.
I just want to know that, are we viewing them the same tokens? Or as we know, USDT's got admin keys. As we know, USDC, they've got free centralized banking.
In my opinion, we have to trust all three of those, or we're going to lose the whole system. Yeah.
Well, you build around PDI first, a little bit about PUSDC.
Yeah.
How does PUSDT going to peg also has stabilized at one?
So it's stayed at a lower price almost the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know what the long-term plan for that is specifically. If I guess, the arriving at $1 range, they'll all three end up arriving there at the same time. But at this stage, the buying into USDT is more valuable from my perspective because the bag of PDI and the bags of USDC are already built. When the token prices were tracking more higher, like there was more disparity than there is now, it seemed to me more valuable to buy PDI because it was going to track the highest price. If they're going to grow further apart, PDI is going to get there first if it follows the same trajectory. You're not supposed to ever use that kind of logic in investing, but
this crypto.
I suppose Mantisa, or I don't know if you build a new branch in that area, Mantisa.
So as the stable coins go up, the idea is to feed first into that part of the system, and there's certain tokens up there that I'm going to have to buy back if I want to have contractually written control of the system that I've built. And so the way that I've designed all the tokens is supposed to be predictable. Like if you're following along with the level that I'm setting, like you should know you can exploit me by buying in before I do to a given token. Yeah. That's by design. If someone buys in too much, it's going to change the plan. The upside down R token, that's the most dangerous one.
You have a lot of it.
Price is not going to, it's not going to go down.
It looks very nice though.
Yeah.
I mean, just the logo of it, the R upside down looks.
Yeah.
Teddy Bear 9? The Japanese teddy bear?
Yeah, I haven't used that one again yet. I'm scoping how it's going to be used with cap and trade. If I get there, I don't know. Yeah.
Are you happy what you achieved so far?
I think so. So my target back in November was 3 cent Atropa by March. And we hit that number.
Yep.
That was basically the only real goal I had. Teddy Bears way outperformed what I expected.
Just cute.
We rose above 100 million market cap for a short period of time. That was goal number 2. So if it stabilizes at above 100 million market cap,
Are we talking about all the coins together?
all the coins together, everything, not including the 666, everything in the addresses list. Yeah. If everything in the addresses list stabilizes at over 100 million by the end of April, like everything's on target.
Shouldn't be too far, really.
It's
Off
not.
the 100.
We've already been there.
I mean, Teddy Bear itself, it was about 40 something million.
It was. Yeah.
What's the roadmap? Roughly. Do we start? We're going to start with tier 2, I think. Are we still on time with it?
It's going to depend on how the token development and this layer 2 concept that I have in mind meet together. There's the overall goal of building up the Pulsechain economy, and then there's a secondary goal of I have more money in it than I need, and so now how do I build something useful that's going to grow it even more? The projection, I don't know. A big part of it, problem so far, is I can't find a place that I want to do the development. If I find a location, it's going to change a lot.
A location as in what?
Where do I want to build an office? Hire a couple of people.
You're talking about low-wise or?
Work full time. Yeah.
Is that why you're traveling and checking out places?
Yeah. If New Canton had ozone issues, it'd be a real option. It still might be an option, but I don't know. It went really well there. It was like living on the res for a week, which I don't think it's for everybody.
It's cold.
As good as it gets. No, the weather's great. It was. I think it got down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, but.
I mean, Richard did it.
And the ground's very slippery. Like you fall down a lot if you don't have cleats on. Yeah.
Where are you from?
I live right now in Hollywood. My family's from the mountains of eastern Kentucky. So the nuke is 5,000 people. That's huge compared to where I'm from. From the perspective of everybody knows each other in the indigenous community, that part was normal. But the X part, like we don't have expats.
No, are you James or not?
Yeah.
Because obviously I've seen the video on 2018, and I thought you were from Belgium, to be honest with you.
No.
So
James Elliott
may I have a
III.
question? How long have you been working on dysnomia? I've been watching your videos.
2018, I finished. Have you heard of Terra Power?
Okay.
Yeah, so Terra Power is Bill Gates' nuclear company. They have a reactor they're building, and they have a software for the reactor, and they wanted a serial number, like unhackable, so they can release their software.
Okay, and that was the Diffie-Hellman that you were speaking about in the video.
So I wrote
correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know all of the technical aspects, I'm just going in from a financial aspect.
Okay, yeah, so I wrote the most elite serial number system in the history of cracking. And that started the whole thing. I've been working on. It started with SoulSeek. I wanted to make a more secure, like encrypted version of SoulSeek, starting in like 2008. And I got code pieces working, but I didn't really have an interface, and it wasn't going to be something that people would really use. Like you could use it for currying, like wares, but that's about it. And so the dysnomia part came in with how you make an encryption routine that is like enigmatic enough that it beats everything. Like the reason we use SHA 256, RSA, all that, it's not because they're the best encryption algorithms. It's not because they're the hardest to crack. It's because mathematically, when we think about how those numbers are moving and how those numbers are connecting to each other, and why you can have the same encryption piece here and here, the like entanglement issue is like cognizant. It's like normal ways of animal thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if we have the most normal way of all, which is nuclear tunneling, then it just beats everything. And so within, I guess Vietnamese science did the best. So his name is Bao Dai. So he wanted to solve the Nazi question of what makes you as a scientist better than me as a smoker, because I can kick your ass. And so his theory was like, if you can actually answer that question by saying, well, this is what's in your way and you can't cross it, which he did. He found a chemical solution. And a lot of, like Hungary, the letter E with the 2 dots over it, in Hungarian science, it's the same chemical solution. When you drink Yakult, the little like yogurt drink,
yes, I know
that's the same chemical solution.
Okay.
The organism that they, like the chemical bacterial minor organism that grows, that they created, is the same as the mathematical structure that dysnomia uses.
Okay, so if you compare this to crypto, BFF is an important element of dysnomia. Correct me if I'm wrong. No. Does BFF have something to do with dysnomia?
So the idea is that, so like the Yakult. If you think about that organism that's in your little yogurt drink as your best friend, it's really not. It's bacteria. But if you do it perfectly and you can personally send all those messages, then maybe now it is. So if you have full control over the microorganism in your cult, as like a Hungarian Nobel Prize winner, then you've solved the whole game of Hungary. Like that's all Hungarian science is about, really. And so if the BFF token has value by having a backing of the science, then it's connected in that way.
Okay.
But right now there's no plan for how any portion of the dysnomia layer 2 is going to interact at all. I'm kind of scoping how the very first little pieces are going to appear on blockchain, but that's about it.
Would you have a timeline of when that will be completed?
I do not know.
No?
I thought initially that it would be cool to build the chat log into a new app.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm on track to finish that pretty quickly. But I think with most software development things, it's like who's going to use it, what's going to make it better than option number 2. And I haven't yet found the full value for beating the IRC channel with the new system yet. If I can cross that line, then the development will occur really fast.
At some point, I think you were talking about probably a private chat log that was being built.
Yeah.
Is that correct? If some people were holding a certain amount of tokens, or if they were holding one whole token of a specific one.
So by the time the layer 2 comes in, I'll set up something initially where there's like a standard way to import the chat logs, and it'll have to be based off of the chat log that I've kept, which is going to be harder for me to analyze and separate out than the chat logs other people are keeping. So it should be easier for them to get theirs in than it is for me to get mine in.
Okay.
Yeah. Based on how much of the chat log you've kept, you'll be able to own more of the initial blockchain on the new system. Okay. So the blockchain will never be fully shared. If you want to get these private old chat log blocks, you're going to have to arrange some sort of arrangement with somebody that has them in order to get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you said, if someone wants to be top holder of the U token right now, it will have access to probably, I don't know, maybe I misunderstood this. So the second you said that, I just bought and I became top holder of that token, and I've been holding it.
Which one? Oh, yeah.
The U token, I think.
Not Robert, the human.
It's
that sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little sign. That one.
So a few wallets.
So that one's meant to have.
In a few wallets.
So when there is a layer 2 and there's any sort of social system, that's supposed to support all of the initial
social marketing, meme coin,
anything social on the layer 2. By holding that token, you're going to be like a boss level, whatever that ends up being. It might mean that you have moderation capability. It might mean that it could mean anything.
Okay.
It's up for discussion.
It will be paired to meme tokens, possible meme tokens
so
to attract attraction, probably.
If I think about the Discworld mod, there's, I don't know if anybody else has actually ever played it. So when you train in Discworld, you have these like experience points that are built up, and you spend your experience points to get new skills. So the U token is meant to be that side. Whereas the Ojon token is meant to be like you buy your weapons and your clothing and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like the description.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So you've been to Greenland, and you can see that we have a nice community behind Greenland. Maybe you've noticed it, maybe you haven't. And we have a Telegram with roughly maybe like nearly 400 people, and we have that person inside it called Ben. He is educating a lot of people, and he's really trying to contribute in a good way in the token, and he's top holder of this one. So in case you have any worries about Greenland and someone being top holder, he's a top holder.
Does he live there?
Sorry?
Does he live there?
No, he doesn't live there. He lives in like USA, Canada, somewhere like that. But he's doing a really good job. He's taught me a lot when I first started getting into the ecosystem, and now he's doing conferences, little video calls, and he's teaching a lot of people about the liquidity, and he added liquidity to that tokenized asset.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen that move we've done.
I sold a bunch of that.
Yeah, so we've done that move. He added liquidity to tokenized asset, went in, some people made a bit of profit, we exited through other liquidities, brought it back to Greenland, so it rose a bit the price, we did some good job. The second experiment failed with the SIM token, You did.
Okay.
Maybe. So he had added liquidity to the SIM token, but then we got dragged down because there was a bit of a not crash but correction on the ecosystem. So that didn't work out. But he is trying
Might
to.
expect that with that one. Yeah.
But he doesn't want to do anything wrong. So if you don't agree with it, but he is trying to, whenever you're ready with the Greenland token, contribute, make something.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for a bit of instructions, probably.
So I ran into enough people in Greenland that had some awareness that I know it's been seen, but I'm not yet seeing. My goal would be for a certain group of Greenlanders to be able to see profit from that token, and I don't yet see how that's going to occur. Yeah.
Okay, no, because we're not. Obviously, I'm not in the ecosystem to try and like extract value like this other person, Ben. We're trying to grow it and work as a team all together, and we're here for the long run. So we're trying to do what's the best for the ecosystem. And if there's anything we can contribute, adding LP, anything, burning.
I think honestly,
he has a lot of it.
The price on it's up too high.
Yeah, it's a bit high.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other elements, it's a bit.
The target audience for that token is, I don't know when or if or where they're going to buy in. Like how I can make that happen. But the goal is that audience in Greenland should be able to make some profit. I don't know if I have a long-term plan there at this point, but it's quite possible I do.
Okay, is it a way to, because people like it because they like the ways the liquidity are set up, you know? We have an indirect good liquidity with Teddy Bear, we have a good liquidity with Poppy, so we're related to Down and Teddy Bear, so we have a good correlation.
Gotcha.
But I can see if we go up too fast, it's not good for the ecosystem in general, so we should probably wait. How should we?
So I would think of it as
for it to be organic. How do you want it? How would you want to make it organic in a financial way?
I don't know.
Okay.
The goal is making money, obviously, and from my perspective, that's not necessarily the token. It may be in a good position, but it's not the best token to be making money. Like it's the amount of the actual Greenland token that I'm holding, like I'm ready to hand that off if I meet the right person that's local.
In Greenland?
Yeah.
Because this token is destined for Greenland specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if
in what way?
So say it goes up a lot, but I still hold like I don't remember what percentage I have. I think it's a lot. If I hand off that portion, then it doesn't matter how much it's going up, because now, say I hand it off to somebody who's going to be responsible with it and not just like tank the price, it's going to support who I want it to support. And so, if you think of it like the treasury, like that treasury, like I said, is meant to. You weren't here yet.
Treasury bill.
The treasury account, the Trebizond account.
Trebizond, yeah, of course.
So there's a potential that could be transferred at some point.
It's your plan to sell it one day?
Maybe. It's not out of the question. The Greenland token is the same. Like if it's either, I don't think it's proper to sell that one, but if it's like literally like handed off to like KNR, and the right people at KNR are gonna like care about it and make money from it for everybody, then that's 100% success for that in my book. So if it goes way up and I'm holding that portion and I'm never gonna sell it, by the time that there's a relationship where somebody can take over and manage it, like that works out really well if we get there.
I think we have a good team behind it, and I think that person that's educating everyone, Ben, he has a good bag. He's a top holder in Atropa, P-Dye, Teddy Bear. So I think he's willing to do a good job. You called him out once. He got a bit scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you probably remember. So he burnt after some liquidity with PWFF's exit, but now he's really trying to contribute in a good way. Really catch up. Oh, no, thank you. I have like a series of questions that are from the community. They asked. So the first one is, what is the real role of Atropa? So you've told us the main goal is to help it peg to the P tables to peg.
Well, the role of it.
Yeah, you want something? You want other?
Can I get another cappuccino?
One cappuccino?
A cappuccino.
Two cappuccinos? One espresso?
Two espresso.
Two espresso, two cappuccino. Here we go.